Finding x-intercepts or zeros or roots from vertex form. Actually, this is the same procedure as finding any kind of height on a parabola. But in this case, because they say to find zeros, what do we know about all x-intercepts? Well, we know that the y is equal to 0. So when they say find the zeros, we know that we need to set y is equal to 0. Now if they said find the point where the height was 20, let's just change y to 20 instead of doing 0 like I'm going to do today, okay? So let's say they give us an example, and it is in vertex form. So I have minus 2x minus 4 squared plus 5. The first thing I'm going to check is that there actually are zeros. So I did a little sketch there. My vertex is at 4 and 5, and the a value is negative, so it opens down, so it's going to have zeros. If that was a positive 2, it would have not have any zeros, and I wouldn't even have tried it. Okay, so now that I know that there are 2 zeros, I'm going to plug in y is equal to 0. Again, that value may change if I say when was the ball at 10 meters from the ground, or whatever it is. And I'm just going to isolate for x. There's only one x, and as long as I see only one x, I can isolate for it. So the first thing that's going to go out is the plus 5. I'm going to do kind of reverse BEDMAS. If I was doing BEDMAS, I would say x minus 4, so that's the first thing. Then I would square it. Then I'd multiply by minus 2. And then I would add 5. So now everything goes out the opposite way. So the last thing was the plus 5. So now I'm going to get 0 minus 5. So equal to minus 2 x minus 4 squared. The second last thing was to multiply by minus 2. So to get rid of this, I'm going to divide both sides by minus 2. And I end up with 5 over 2. I could write this as 2.5, but I prefer to keep things in fractions in case this didn't work out nicely. In this case, it did work out nicely, so it's not a big deal. Minus 4 squared. Now the next thing that goes over is the squared. But as we discussed in class, when you have something squared that goes as a square root, we need to write it as plus or minus the square root. Because whatever answer, either positive or negative, when I square it, I'm going to get the like 5 over 2. So all I got left is x minus 4. And I just need to move that minus 4 to the other side. So I would add I would add 4 to both sides, and I get 4 plus or minus square root of 5, over 2, which is equal to x. Now this plus or minus is not one operation, it's actually 2. So basically means that I need to do 2 answers. And I'll probably go down, but I just don't have enough room. So I have that 4 minus the square root of 5 over 2 is equal to x. Or that 4 plus square root of 5 over 2 is equal to x. And I applied this into my calculator earlier on, and we get 2.42 and 5.58. So those are the two places where the parabola will cross the x-axis.